When you embody the new identity, you experience your desired reality. How do I know this? How can I be so confident? Because Mr. Jim Q is emerging as the most popular English brand for young learners in Hong Kong. And that was the focus, the scope of the brand. We have a bigger vision, a bigger picture beyond that, but we're starting small with a city of 7 to 8 million people where everyone, now keep in mind, I'm just flowing with the stream of consciousness here. We clearly see a problem. This is very important when you're developing products or services, that you want to make sure that there is a problem that you solve, and that from the buyer's perspective, or the person that would be willing to do the value exchange, meaning they're going to give you money or barter their service for your service, whatever the conditions are. Let's just say within this realm, in this reality, we have money as a means of value exchange. There has to be a problem big enough in their mind that it's not even an equal exchange. They're going to see that your product or service is the obvious choice overwhelmingly, to where they believe that the funds that they give you are going to solve that problem in a way that, and again, I'm just flowing with it here. Don't just think feature, like our product or service does this, or the benefit. Because it does this, this will happen. You have to think of what the ultimate outcome is, like the satisfaction, etc. Okay? So what we're doing with let me show you here. Mr. Jim Q, okay? MrJimQ.com, okay? And I'll discuss a little bit about the accountability, what we've done this week, which is phenomenal. So let's do this. We're going to change the format this week. We're going to make it much shorter. Previously, we've been going an hour and 15 minutes plus, up to an hour and a half with just spitballing, stream of consciousness, some form of a structure, usually about 4 pages of notes, okay? And what I realized is, and again, the blog functionality of it is, you obviously, a lot of people don't have time to watch the whole video. The benefit you get from the videos are you're able to get a true sense of who I am. And as we bring on more people involved with the project, doing interviews, etc., you'll just be able to get a good sense of what QUARLESS is. And this is, again, QUARLESS Chronicles Live. So it's the perfect segue into our opening statement: manifesting, co-creating together. QUARLESS.com is the premier purpose-driven creative ecosystem in 2026 and beyond. Okay? And I'm going to take a quick, I need to think very quickly. So we have 7, 8, I believe, is it 8 cycles we finished? 8 10-day cycles? Yes, we're about to be on our 9th 10-day cycle. So let's keep in mind, we are pushing well into the first quarter of 2026 is finishing. And speaking of accountability, I just got to keep it real. We have multiple brands that we've been developing and working on. And I originally had a vision at the beginning of this on, you'll see it. It's so that's the point of chronicling this project. It's like an interactive reality project, and we are chronicling. Yeah, I think that's the term. We are creating a chronicle series. And in that, we are saying what we've been doing, what we intend to do, and we're having accountability, we're acknowledging it. But at the same time, if you follow the series, you'll see some of the major errors and problems we've had. Like, by the end of the first quarter, we should be at a certain place, and we're not there. But the beauty of this thing is we are consistent every week, coming back every week. And with this consistency, what's happening is, and I'm right now in the present moment, I'm experiencing with all of my senses. We covered this previously with the five senses, yes, I'm tasting it, I'm smelling it, I'm feeling the sunshine coming in, right? I'm touching, I got a screen here, I'm touching it, right? I'm feeling all that. Plus we have higher levels of perception that we are in tune with, and breathing and tapping into that in the present moment. So the beauty of, even if in your life you've made and will make again, right, mistakes, and you're making decisions and taking actions, and you're finding that you're making errors or there's missteps. The beautiful thing is, number one, you never think of something as failure. You think of it as feedback. So if you did something and the feedback or the result came back, it's not what you desired, you can see and assess, well, why did that happen? And then you make adjustments, right? In the military, it's an after action report. You kind of analyze and see what went right, what didn't go as well as we wish, and you make adjustments. So in a earth realm level, just in the way we've been raised, the scientific method, etc., in that world, that's an obvious way to perceive something, right? These aren't failures. This is feedback, not failure, okay? And you can make adjustments, but at the same time, that's the beauty of taking actions that are consistent, that are repeating again and again and again, because what that does is that goes beyond this scientific method only measuring physical elements and going into the ether where, and again, I just made the point about being in the present moment, because I'm sending the signal again and again and again. And it's like, here we are, it's a week later, and we're back for episode 12 today, okay? So it's like episode 12, episode 15. Maybe the universe isn't super aware right now, but then it's like episode 24, episode 50, like this guy's consistent. And we continue to focus on some key elements of what we are emerging, of what is emerging, our intentions, all right? So I'll get back to Mr. Jim Q later, but we've done so much this week and are rolling it out finally, and very excited about the structure, the concept, the absolute problem, the solution we have solves the problem that is needed, and the way we are presenting it in multiple levels. Because, for example, if whatever you're doing, right, if you're trying to get to $1 million, you can sell, and I don't have the math worked out now, but the point is, you don't have, I saw this recently on some reel or whatever, but it was like doing the calculation. Like, you could sell one thing for $1 million, you could sell 10 things for $100,000, etc. So the bigger the service or the product, the solution, right? You can sell toy helicopters or you can sell real helicopters. You know what I'm saying? In terms of wanting to make substantial amounts of money. So the idea is, we've developed this brand, and this is part of what's so beautiful, because we are sharing fully with how we developed it, what we're doing, how we're developing leads, how we're using AI in order to effectively use SEO, for example, and get into basically saturate the market in a way where that is emerging to be a fact. Mr. Jim Q Sing Song is the Chinese, that means Q is the surname. So Jim Q, like letter Q, where are we at? Letter Q in English, but in Cantonese, there's a surname called Q, and it's Q Sing Song, which means Mr. Q. We avoided the Q Losi, which would be meaning teacher, right? So we avoided like teacher Q, and we made it Mr. Q, all right? For the kids, because we're beyond just a teacher. It's an entertainment brand, it's fun, it's interactive. We want to, the whole part of the whole concept is, when you are having fun and learning at the same time, this better infuses the memory, being able to recall and this kind of thing. So let me take a sip here. Hold on, stay with me now. I'll just tell you now about the changing the format. I'm going to jump around a little bit. Part of that is changing the format. Okay, so QUARLESS Chronicles live. We're going to have the weekly episode as we've been doing. Currently, we are still only streaming through Facebook. That is changing because we're doing testing with multiple platforms just to get the word out there, doing it live, okay? At the same time, we will take that, package it after it's been live, and get it out there so at least it's out there, posted all over, okay? And also taking, clips, the reels, and all that kind of stuff. So we're still in the process of doing that. But in terms of the format, instead of it being an hour plus long, and then we'll make the blog. So even if we've condensed it down to 30 minutes, let's say, which is our target now, we're now 30% through it. I think 30 minutes is a good target to keep it. We're going to condense the content, but this is the point. The content on video, not everyone has the opportunity or the time to go through all of the videos. So we're taking out the best parts of it, the main points, putting it into blog form, getting it onto QUARLESS.com so you can have a quick, 3-minute read or whatever to see what the content has been. That's the first point. And that's open to the public, okay? We have that posted publicly on the internet, okay? And what the format is now, in the live stream, we want to present some value in terms of concepts, insights, something that has a theme or an idea that we just put out into the internets, and it's just part of us sharing what we've been learning. Within that process, maybe there's a story or two which we work in to make it more entertaining, or solidify, make it more tangible for someone to understand the concept. And we also have the accountability section, which is like, so the whole concept is, as we're chronicling this process, including positives, negatives, successes, feedback cases, if you know what I'm saying, no failures, that process, we'd like to also show you, like, well, this is what happened. This is the accountability section. This is what happened over the past week or so, and positives, negatives, etc. And then what's going to come in the future, what we're looking at over the short term, next week or so. Okay, so that's all included. This is the part that I'm very excited about. On QUARLESS.com, it's a membership site, social media networking site, QUARLESS.com, and it has a free membership area, okay? And with there are pages and interaction groups, etc., for our free members. On there, we are now going to take some of the elements we've been putting on the live public area, and it's going on to the private QUARLESS.com. It's still free, but the idea is this will help get members on board to check out what it is. And that is now going to be the tactical element. So when we discuss what's happened and what we plan to do, the actual nuts and bolts of the tactics, which is very valuable for you and your business or in life, what you're trying to do, we're making the idea, we're connecting at QUARLESS.com, we're focusing on mind and money. And the reason is because without mind, you could do all the right steps, but if the mind isn't there, if you don't have the right mindset, you're going to self-sabotage. There's other errors are going to come in that are in your blind spots that you're not even aware about. So the first thing is to get the mind right. And then the other thing is, why do we talk about money? Because money is actually, we just discussed value, exchange, and what money represents is it represents ability and opportunity. So it's not money for money's sake. It's being able to pursue whatever you are destined to pursue in this life. And part of that today, we're going to discuss the idea of discomfort and dissatisfaction and what that really means. All right. So just last point on the QUARLESS.com free membership element. We're going to talk, we're going to discuss specific tactics. It is inclusive, interactive, where members are actually going, it's like the reality show you're seeing here publicly. It's like that, but it's behind the scenes where individual members are given opportunities to co-create music, brands, be involved in different ways. We also have we call it a money account. It's an affiliate system where it's part of the membership. It's free. So everyone is linked into that. When you're a member of QUARLESS.com, you also have your own money account. And the idea is we are going to share all of that. So it's all transparent. People know what's working, what's not, who's earning money, how they're earning money, which projects are happening in that moment, which projects are coming up. And this is where together we grow, expand. And again, you may have a vision, and QUARLESS.com is part of helping you get to what you need to pursue in this life before you check out. All right. So that is the key. And you must always remember that every day is a gift. You can't take it for granted. You don't know if tomorrow's going to come. You don't know if you're going to live to be old, and looking back on your life and having that element of satisfaction. That's the only time we're going to talk about that today, right now. The only time you should feel satisfied is when you're on your deathbed looking back, knowing that you've done your best. That's the only time you should feel satisfied. Otherwise, there should be a continuous sense of unease, of discomfort, of dissatisfaction. Actually, that level of how dissatisfied you are has to do with your future self, your true self, that is what's happening is you are in the present moment, and it may be on a different timeline, if you will, but you have a future, you are in the present moment, and you have a future reality that you desire. That future reality could only exist with your future self. It is impossible for you in your present moment, even if you feel you are absolutely locked on, making things happen, it's impossible because you're in the present. So you will change. It may be slight adjustments, etc., but that future self is signaling you in the present moment, and that is being experienced as discomfort, unease. It could even be, and now I'm gonna hopefully blow your mind. If you are someone who experiences loneliness, even helplessness or sadness, I don't want to go as far as depression, right? But it's heavy. You are feeling what can be perceived as very deep negative emotions. That could mean that your future self is so amazing and so powerful and doing such great things that it cannot believe it can't believe what's going on in the present moment in your current state. So as you're experiencing this feeling of like helplessness because what's happening, you're super upset and like things aren't going well, and all this negative turmoil and bad feeling, it's a positive thing. It's a positive thing because what's happening is what you need to do is invert that and realize that that future self is reaching back through the timeline and slapping you like, wake up, let's go. All right. So what we need to do is absolutely invert that perception. So Let me see. I'm just mixing these notes all around today. All right. So what we have to do is think of it would be great. That's what I was saying before. It would be great if comfort, you know what? That's what it's like. It's like, think about true comfort. Actually, that might come once in a while if you go on holiday. Maybe make a plan once a quarter, go on holiday. You could cheat a little bit on your diet or whatever, right? It's like, enjoy a little bit, but you need to reset quickly, okay? Maybe once a quarter. It's funny, it's like right now my future self is just put that into my mind to share with you. So it's like, to not have any comfort or be satisfied with the progress you've made at all until you're an old person and you're on your deathbed. That doesn't seem reasonable, because then it's like, what's the point if I'm always dissatisfied with my situation? Then what's the point, right? We don't want helplessness to that degree. That's why I avoided the term depression, where you're laying in bed and you can't even see the future, right? We don't want that. What we want is, you can see the future, but it's not the present. And there's some disconnect there, and that's creating this negative feeling. So think of it this way. When we think of discomfort, it is a necessary experience, discomfort. And you can either have discomfort from not taking an action, or let's say taking a wrong action, or you can have discomfort from taking the right action. So let's say alcohol, for example. Let's say you're someone who likes to drink. So you take an action, you drink, but then you vegged out a bit, you watched a movie, the next day you wake up a bit groggy and you're a bit off in terms of jumping on the next day and getting things done, okay? That's an example of discomfort from the wrong action, okay? Same person now. Let's say you want to stay up a bit. You wanted that drink, but you skipped the drink, okay? You wanted the drink, you skipped the drink. So now you're sitting there, maybe you're watching that movie still, all right? That's fine. You're watching the movie, but now it's like, oh, I would have wanted to hang out and calm my nerves and stuff, right? So, but you're watching that movie and you didn't take alcohol. So there's discomfort there, right? You wake up the next day, but you're a bit more locked on. You're a bit more focused. You can hit the gym harder. Your body's functioning better. Everything's flowing more smoothly, okay? So in both scenarios, you're taking some kind of action or lack of action, right? Maybe you didn't even go to the gym, and now there's there's an element of, it feels like comfort, because like, I didn't go and waste the energy going to the gym, but at the same time, there's now, you know what I'm talking about when you skip the gym and you should have gone. There's this discomfort, like you failed yourself, okay? So this is what we need to be aware of. You're going to have discomfort no matter what. So think about the actions you take. And again, no action is an action. So no matter what, you're taking some action. But like I said, even if you don't take an action, like you don't drink or you don't engage in some activity that's really not good for you, that's a positive, okay? So you may or may not take actions, but any action is an action, and you want to be aware that discomfort is a given. Discomfort is a constant, so you need to make the decisions where it's the right kind of discomfort. That is using your mind, okay? So we're going to connect the mind, body, action element, okay? So actually it's mind, feeling. So you use your mind to make decisions, and then you're going to get a feeling, okay? So the key is, I mentioned this term about dissatisfaction before, because your future self is communicating with you, or your higher self, we can call it, etc. But I like future self, so you get the point, because you're in the present and you're feeling dissatisfied in the present, but that's because you're trying to become the future self and you're not that identity yet. So that's where this idea of dissatisfaction comes in. However, let's invert that. Let's redefine that as satisfaction is a feeling, right? So satisfaction comes in the present moment from the discomfort of taking positive actions. So you have positive actions, or, what's the term? Not taking for lack of a better term, you are taking actions or refraining from taking an action which has an element of discomfort. That's, you are using your mind to make decisions, to make choices. Then the feeling comes, and the feeling is satisfaction, because even though you're feeling discomfort, even though you have discomfort, you know that you are making the right choices that are leading you to change your identity and evolve into that future character. So this is where the idea of correspondence comes in. Your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions all function in unison. And the discomfort thing is just a reality. You put it to the side. You know that these three elements together, your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions, correspond. And this is where, and this is in your present moment, this is how you influence the quantum and ideas, the quantum field, and ideas about opportunities or coincidences. Different things start to emerge. This is where co-creation comes in, because that's where your timeline is starting to shift. And a beautiful thing, I've said it before, and I've gotten through different random reels and posts related to gurus and just people rambling on the internet, this idea of when in your present moment you alter your timeline, you alter the entire timeline. So although you have memories and ideas of the past, those actually, you basically reinterpret experiences you've had. And the victim, if there were any sort of victim mindset ideas, that gets converted into victor. So it's like, these experiences have led me to this being I am now, and I am not comfortable. I have discomfort, but I am satisfied in the thoughts, feelings, and actions I am taking as I proceed into the future and co-creating with the quantum field, baby. All right, let's do this. Thanks for listening to my rant. We covered all elements today. We're down to 1.5 minutes. All right, I'm very focused on the time. So as I mentioned, I just want to finish this up with accountability so you know we're not playing around. This past week, we went all in. So we have a lead capture document called Mr. Jim Q's Parents Guide for Little English Learners. It is an 11-page comprehensive guide that we're giving away for free on MrJimQ.com. There is a lead capture form now that actually it redirects into the QUARLESS.com ecosystem, where Mr. Jim Q has a page. That's the lead capture form. We also have on Facebook and on IG, we have the comment to direct message system in place, where people just comment English and they get a link to that free download page. That's all set up now, okay? Also, in the previous week, we have set up using AI, which is all part of these tools you're going to learn within the QUARLESS.com ecosystem. If you want to learn different methods on how to use AI to improve search engine optimization, SEO, and how to now, with the way algorithms work on social media, the era of hashtags are dead. Hashtags are basically used as a type of index So you should have maybe, a few in there, 5 at most, 5 to 6 at most, but no more, blasting 20 hashtags, okay? So there are a limited amount of hashtags, but the use of your descriptions the descriptions you use need to encapsulate the keywords that you are trying to express. This is how you get your videos or posts in front of the right sort of people. So we've developed an entire methodology system on how to do that with our specific project, which is children's education, English education within Hong Kong. And this system could be applicable to your brand, your concept. So come on board, QUARLESS.com, and we will see you there. I went over 1 minute, but I'm doing better. All right. Constantly evolve. All right. Ever evolving. Thanks. See you next week for episode 13. And by the way, we've been conditioned that certain numbers like 13 are bad luck or there's something negative about it. But little did you know, it could be a positive thing. All right. Welcome to the new reality. Bye.